Cinderella design that has, it's the two new Madam Glam collections, the rubber base one, and then their back to school collection for this year. The back to school collection has a combination of a really pretty glitter color, and then it pairs it with a cream color so that you can layer them really nicely, and it created this beautiful swirly Cinderella glittery blue thumbnail that I'm absolutely in love with. I also have a little Cinderella head that I painted separately and attached to my nail, and if you're interested in that process, I do have more of the details on the sticker thing that I used and everything in a separate video that will be up on Tuesday, so come back for that. Otherwise, I hope you love this design. I'll put the links to all the color names from Madam Glam below, as well as my discount code, so check that out, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!
So we're going to begin on the ring finger with painting one coat of the color Amazon, which is one of those rubber-based gels. And it's such a beautiful, milky, kind of a clear, foggy clear with a little bit of a glitter in it. So like I said, one coat of that, it just almost creates like a smoothing effect over my natural nail. My natural nails have a couple little imperfections in them, and this just makes them look really nice and crisp. So then, on a blank sticker sheet, I'm going to begin by painting Cinderella's face with the color Proud Nude, and that isn't a new one. That one was from a Father's Day collection a few years ago, and so that one, I think it was from a Father's Day collection. I don't know. It's hard to keep track sometimes, but we're going to do Cinderella's face. So like I said, I'm doing this on a sticker sheet. More info up on Tuesday after we have her face done. And then I'm going to be using the color Fries Before Guys, which is one of my absolute favorites. It is one that just lends itself to so many different characters and is like the perfect color for Cinderella's hair. So we're going to be using that to just paint her hair. As I'm curing each layer of this, I am making sure that anytime it's like a full big layer, like the first layer of her skin and the first layer of her hair, I'm going to fully cure it. Otherwise, I'm just going to flash cure these layers, just like painting little, decals on I've also done a similar thing just on a silicone mat and then peeled it off. You don't want to over cure because it's going to end up stiffening up the gel and it's not going to apply as well. So then the next is going to be the color Groupie, and that's one of the new ones, and is the blue, super pigment, super creamy. And we're going to be doing her dress, the little bit that shows, and then the headband in her hair. And the funny thing is none of her dress actually ended up on my nail. It's really hard to tell how much you need, so I ended up painting a little bit more than I needed to, but that's okay. Better to have extra than not enough. And then I'm going to be using the color Cat's Pajamas for her little poofy sleeves. That one is actually a gray, but it's more of a blue leaning gray, and so it works really well for her sleeves. And then the little bit at the bottom of her headband, I'm going to outline those blue areas with the color Behind the Scenes. So that's the sleeves and then her dress as well as her headband. Just going through, and this is a point where, also adding her choker. This is a point where you would only do a flash cure instead of doing a full cure, just to make sure that you don't end up overcooking all of these little pieces. You don't want them to fry. So just carefully do those outlines. When you are getting gel on your gel brush, and I'm using the detail liner brush from Madam Glam, you want to make sure you don't get too much of a glob on the end of your brush. Just a little bit of gel and then apply it so that your outlines are nice and thin and crisp. I'm using the color Perfect Brown to be doing all of the outlines on her face and her hair. And so I'm just going to go through and kind of just work them in, taking my time. Anytime I'm doing these outlines or outlines on anything, it's sort of a slow moving process, and I recommend, like I said, taking your time. And I say that in a bunch of my videos. I'm constantly preaching to just do things slow and steady, but it really is, in my mind, the best method, because you don't have to go back through and fix things nearly as much as if you try to rush through the processes. So now, still using the color, the Perfect Brown, I'm going to be doing all of the little, kind of the basic finding her facial features on her face. I'm going to give her nostril and the little tip of her nose. The thing with Cinderella is she really doesn't have much of a visible nose, so you have to kind of do that a little bit delicately, and then do her nose, or do her eyes and her eyebrows. We already did her nose. And then you're also going to do her lips with that same brown color. After you have that done, then you can start doing things like filling in her eyes and her teeth with white gel paint and filling in the rest of her facial features. One thing that I did that you could do or you wouldn't have to do is I mixed a little bit of the color My Heart Goes Boom is what it is. It took my brain a second there. And the Proud Nude that I started out with. And I used those two colors to create like a blush color, and I applied that to her cheeks. And I did that in just a second, but right there. And when you're doing that kind of a thing, that's an optional additive to this. You wouldn't have to do these other little shading things. I also mixed a little bit of the Perfect Brown with Proud Nude to do some shading on her neck and her face here and there. Not too much, but just a little bit. And that's something that is optional. It adds a lot of depth, and it really doesn't take much time to do, but it is another layer, it's another step, and it's another process. And if you want to skip it, it really doesn't impact the design all of that much where it would be harmful to skip it. But if you want to just take your design to that little bit of a next level, it is a lovely thing to do. I'm going to highlight her hair with the color Bright Honey, and all of these colors, like I said, are listed down below, so if you want to go back through and figure out exactly which ones I used, I do have them all written out too in the description box. I'm going to be adding her eyelashes and her pupils with black gel paint. Those are the only two things that are done with black outlines on Cinderella. Everything else is kept very soft and very simple outlining wise. Instead of going, really bold and doing black outlines, everything is done with a complementary color. Filling in her pupils, and then once that's done, like I said, the details on applying her to the nail will be in a separate video, but we're going to be covering Cinderella's headband and necklace with the color Rockin' Blue, and then adding the color Rockin' It to the end of the headband, and those are two new colors. On the thumb, I'm going to be using that Groupie again. Do you guys see how beautiful that coverage is? Oh my goodness, it's just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, and it applies so perfectly, and it cures with such a creamy finish. There's really just no other explanation for it. So there is the first coat of that. I am going to apply a second coat once I have that first coat on. I'm a super perfectionist, so I definitely go over things a couple times just to make sure that I get every spot painted exactly how I want to, and then I'm going to go through after that's cured and apply my second coat. Like I said, so beautiful. I'm so in love with that color, and it's just perfect for Cinderella. As soon as I saw this and I saw the silver and the blue glitters and that perfect creamy blue, I'm like, ooh, this whole collection just makes me feel Cinderella-y. So then after we have that, I'm going to take and I'm going to do a series of swirls just across the nail, filling them in and fitting them in wherever they kind of seem to fit comfortably with the color Rockin' Blue again. And so that's the one that's like the blue glitter that is the pairing with the color Groupie. So those are the two that go together. So like I said, they all have like a creamy base color that is super pigmented, and then a glitter color that can be used over the top of it as I'm doing, or separately, however you want to work it, but they're all just so beautiful. And there's a purple one in there that I'm also really excited to use. I was going back and forth between doing Rapunzel with the purple and doing Cinderella with the blue and silver. You guys can clearly see which way I went, but maybe Rapunzel will have to be next. Rapunzel's one of Melody's current favorites, so that's always an important factor in what goes on my nails, is how much she's going to appreciate it. But now on the index, middle, and pinky nails, I'm going to be applying 2 coats of the color Malaysia, and that's another one of those the rubber base coats. And actually 2 coats of this color creates like the perfect full coverage but foggy sort of jelly, almost really soft looking pink nail. I have done that now on 2 different clients, because as soon as I swatched it on my nail cards, people are absolutely obsessed with it because it's just the perfect pink color. And as soon as it was on there, I had 2 clients that were like, ooh, that one. So it was just funny. But after I have that on there and cured just 1 coat of it, it creates a really nice French tip background. I'm going to do the tip with Groupie, and then using the color Rockin' It, which is that silver and not the blue, I'm going to fade out my French tip line, my smile line, just a little bit and kind of soften it. I didn't want something as harsh for Cinderella. I want it to just be kind of a little glitter fade between the nail bed and the French tip. After all that's done, I'm going to apply a layer of gel top coat over all of these nails, really making sure I cap in my Cinderella. More of that in the future video, and once that video is uploaded, I will put a link to it in the description box below. But otherwise, this whole design is all done. It is so elegant and so simple and so beautiful, and it is just so much fun to wear. I am so in love with it, and all of those colors are just calling me, and I want to use them all now that I used these first few. So I'm super excited to try those out. If you're interested in any questions, and if you want to see that new video, like I said, up on Tuesday, and it's got some really cool stuff. I'm super excited to show you guys that, and I'll see you next time. Bye!